most white people in this country feel. I can only include what they feel from the state of their institution. Now, this is the evidence. You want me to make an act of faith, risking myself, my wife, my woman, my sister, my children, on some idealism which you assure me exists in America, which I have never seen.
Welcome back to Black History for White People, a podcast where we educate, resource, and challenge white people about Black history. I'm Brad, and on today's show are my co-hosts Katina and Garen. And we're also joined once again by Adam Griffin, who is a pastor at Eastside Community Church in East Dallas and has an educational background studying the historical context of racial division in Dallas. Today's topic is Hamilton Park. So we continue our drive in Dallas, and Adam takes us around Hamilton Park, one of Dallas's planned Black communities. He shares some history about the neighborhood, and we dive into its origin story. While we were driving, we saw a sign that said 93rd birthday, so we had to stop and ask some questions, and you'll hear from some current residents and the enlightening conversation we had with them, so it'll jump around a little bit, but we just hope you enjoy the discussion.
Okay, so you'll look on the left, you see the DART station, which they don't like to put in nice neighborhoods. But here on the right is Hamilton Park, and this is the one entry into Hamilton Park. These houses were brand new in the 50s, and people took a ton of pride in this neighborhood because this was considered like their space. There's still a lot of original owners. We have some members at our church who live here, who've lived here since the mid-50s.
Black members?
Black members, yes ma'am.
Awesome.
And so this neighborhood is still mostly Black. There's been some Hispanic integration in a few white families. But what we're driving up right now is right down the center. But you'll see to our left and right, any road you look down is going to have a curve. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. And that's because this neighborhood, again, like if you look at it from above, it's a labyrinth of circles and ovals. In the middle of it, a school, a few churches, but it's built to be isolated. When it was designed, it was built to say, this is where we'll put them. And they got some say in the design, the residents did, and there's still a ton of pride in this neighborhood for the most part. I mean, obviously it's not everybody, but it is sad to see that in the last almost 75 years now, there hasn't been a lot of investment in this community from the city perspective.
Right.
It's still houses that you can tell were brand new 75 years ago, but not much has changed. If you're going to come up here to a stop sign, let's take a left.
Wow.
On the right here, when we turn left, is going to be the school. This was the Highland Park School that I mentioned earlier. Now it's a magnet school, Hamilton Park Pacesetter. So it's a very racially diverse school with a really cool mission, but it just did not have the city investment you would have hoped for.
Well, it's crazy. Places like Booker T. Washington, my friend Terrence Hobdy is over the music program, and before that it was Fred Sanders. I'm a musician, so these are all amazing jazz musicians. Terrence Hobdy graduated from UNT, and he went to what's y'all's SBC Theological Seminary in Fort Worth. Yeah.
Oh, Southwestern?
Yeah, he taught there, and so he just recently took this position at Booker T. And it's amazing how white students are trying to flood into that school because Booker T is famous because of not only Erykah Badu, but so many artists who graduated from there, Grammy Award winning, just all kinds of creatives, not even just music. But they're flooding back into these schools, but they're not, the cities are not investing still in the neighborhood of these schools.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's insane. So you want to take advantage of Black excellence and exploit Black excellence, but you don't want to develop it. So when we have to work so hard to create our own table, then you come and want to partake. But you don't want to invest. You're still just taking,
Yeah.
It's just
still exploitation.
It's still very
name,
much.
Right?
Yeah. And appropriation and gentrification in a sense. So, yeah.
So our city councilman now does invest a ton of time and a ton of money in this neighborhood, and part of the reason is because it was neglected for so long.
Yeah.
And so he's done, I believe, a really good job here. And we just passed the Willie B. Johnson Rec Center. They're investing a lot in trying to beef that up. The Willie B. Johnson Rec Center is named after Willie B. Johnson, who was a woman who was the original homeowner here. And she had to go down. She's famous here in this neighborhood because she would go downtown every day until they would change things here. She was relentless. The one entry here, Schroeder, which was the one road in, we saw was a stoplight. When they first built this neighborhood, it was not a stoplight. And so for them to get in and out of this neighborhood, or even to walk across the street, she said they would sometimes have to wait 10 or 15 minutes to get in and out of this neighborhood, which was just untenable for people trying to get to work or trying to just leave. And so she had to go down there every day and just battle for them to get a stoplight. She petitioned at meetings. She would go in person. And so they named the rec center after her in honor of the work that she did as kind of a matriarch of this community.
So you said they're doing a lot of work. What are some of the things that they're doing?
Well, this rec center, so a lot of rec centers in a lot of communities that don't have a lot of community pride, they just kind of like have some people that want to work out there. Unlike that, in Hamilton Park, that really has a community feel. That is where the original homeowners gather. That's where they get together to play cards, play dominoes, and chat. Yeah. But the property was built, 50, 60 years ago and never improved, but it was still the center of their community. So now they're getting an overhaul of that, as well as now I think a covered basketball court, which you can see there's a basketball court up here on our right that's kind of exposed to the sun, which is not bad, but they're investing in, hey, the kids here play a lot of basketball. Let's give them a better space where they can play more year-round without cooking. But we can go ahead, Brad.
And what are they doing to assist with the houses?
That's a good question. I don't know that there's any city help for that. There has been several times where somebody has come here and tried to buy the entire neighborhood wholesale because of its position at 635 and 75. If you look around the neighborhood, you're going to see parking garages, sky rises, because we're at what's called the High Five. It's the biggest highway conjunction in Dallas, and so the property would be worth a ton to somebody who wanted to build high rises or somebody who wanted to build retail. But at this point, still, the neighborhood has held strong and said we're not interested in selling and leaving.
Mm. How many homes are here?
I don't know. If the listeners are interested, there's a history book just about this neighborhood called Hamilton Park, a planned black neighborhood in Dallas. And it walks through at least originally how many people lived here, but I couldn't tell you now how many homes there are. It's one of only 2 neighborhoods in Dallas that are part of Richardson School District. So most of Dallas is in Dallas ISD, but Lake Highlands and Hamilton Park are Richardson ISD. So they're attached to a suburban school district, but have Dallas city government. So sometimes that can make it a little bit difficult for councilmen and other people too to make a difference because you're battling 2 different cities' authority on things. Mm. But there are really beautiful stories of when this first opened and when this was mostly like middle-class African-American families, just the true pride they took in, like, we're all mowing our lawns together, our families are hanging out together. This is ours. Yeah. And so it does have like a beautiful pride story to it as well. But
yeah.
This is literally, when people say a ghetto, this is what this is. And on July 4th, I don't know if you guys saw the news on July 4th of this last year, there was a gang shooting in this neighborhood in which 3 people were killed, and the 3 teenagers who committed the crimes are now in jail. It took them a couple weeks to catch them, but they fired over 100 bullets, and those teenagers are now in prison. And it's not common to have a ton of violence in here. It's not a crazy violent neighborhood, although it does have crime like any neighborhood in a city is going to have crime.
Right.
It was a very sad story of gang violence you rarely hear about.
And just because our listeners aren't here to see the neighborhood, just to kind of describe it, you can see a lot of care in a lot of the homes, a lot of maintenance of the yards. A lot of the houses you can see have been updated. They're small houses by modern standards. The houses are
town. Houses.
Yeah, houses. I think back in those days, just in general, homes were built smaller. The square footage that we think of as normal now has just grown over time. So in the day they were built, maybe they weren't as small as we would see them now. But you can see a lot of that pride in the neighborhood that
it still kind of comes through in the maintenance a lot of the homes.
And here you can see the proximity to the freeway. Obviously, to the left is where they did all the cement mixing for the building of the High Five, which is these very high crossover highways. And now that that's all done, there's just this big pile of rubble that's sat here for a very long time. So this is the north end, the back end of it. You can get out onto a freeway here, but...
Yeah, come up there, Gary. Is it?
These are mine. The guys that are...
Is your birthday?
My birthday.
Happy birthday. Can I give you a hug?
You know what? The good Lord have been good to me. No medication, all I take is vitamin.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
A blessing.
So
That's my
this
son.
is her son, her baby boy.
Yeah, baby boy.
And would you tell us your name?
He can be more Randy.
Yeah, come on in if you don't mind us talking to you. You mind talking to us?
Not really.
Just giving us a little bit. You were talking about this is her uncle.
Yes.
And what's your name one more time?
Rosie Ray.
Miss Rosie Ray. So he was the original.
Yeah, James Allen. That
Okay.
was my mama's brother.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he, how did he end up? Well, we know the story of how
In
people
Hampton
ended up
Park.
here. Yes, ma'am.
You know what?
I think they came from Arlington, didn't they? Didn't they all?
I don't know, but he ended up from, my daughter make a tell you more. Well, see, you know, I forget a lot.
Yeah.
But Brother Allen was James, that was his daddy and mama. And so that's the only thing I could tell you. So, you know, somebody would know more than my daughter, she'd be in a record. Maybe she could tell you something too.
But you've lived here all your life? No. Or
No, I've been here about 20 years.
About 20
You've been over 40 years, man. About 35.
Well, I've been in Dallas about that, but this, after Uncle James, my uncle, I take care of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
So-
came to take care of him.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
that's why
Okay.
I end up here.
Yes.
So after he lost his wife, so anyway, I come in and take care of him.
Okay.
And so I end up, you know, I done a lot of work to the place.
I see.
Yeah,
It's well kept,
I put
nice.
put siding, I put windows in,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Are those banana trees?
yes.
Yeah.
She changes every so often.
Nice. So you got a green thumb. I wish I could.
Somebody's hipping her, though. She don't want to admit that.
Oh, okay. Somebody.
No, she does it all.
Yeah, I leave it
She'll
for
drive,
You still driving, miss?
go across town to church, go through downtown.
What church y'all go to?
Pernell Baptist Church in Eau Claire.
Amen. Eau Claire. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't want to take up a lot of y'all time. We
But
just
y'all just proud to stop and, you know.
yeah
We're going to try to have a parade at 1 o'clock.
at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay.
parade is gonna be at
This
one.
is awesome. Just a blessing to see. 93 years. When you see a black woman.
So nice to meet you. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry to
thanks.
interrupt, Katina. What were you saying?
No.
That's my son. That's
That's
my
her
baby.
son. Oh,
That's my baby boy.
Yes,
Baby
and then
boy.
you're a mother of 6.
3 girls and 3 boys.
That's amazing. You're a black woman, 93 years old. You've seen a lot. You've
Yes, I have.
experienced a lot.
I have, definitely
And
have.
you're here.
That's what I was telling everybody. What's happening now? I said, you know what? The Bible speaks of all of this.
Yes, ma'am.
We living in the last day, believe
Yes,
it or not. It's too much stuff going on.
Yes, ma'am.
And people so evil.
Yes.
And it just hurts my little heart. Just look at stuff on TV, you know. I'm
Yes.
telling you what I can.
It's okay. It's okay, mother. It's okay. You have a right to cry your tears.
I just see the things that going on and it just hurts my little heart.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I guess I shouldn't even look at the dude.
Yeah.
But
No.
you know, he wants to know what's going on. You really do.
Yes, ma'am.
But like I said, it's praying time, baby.
Yes, ma'am. It is.
So we need to get our heart right because it is time now. The Bible speaks of this.
Yes, ma'am. Did you
Don't
expect
have
to
no
go from
love.
when you were born? What year were you born?
1928.
From 1928, you lived through segregation, redlining, all the things.
Well, I tell you-
and then civil rights movement.
That's right. That's right.
Then next, and then now here we are.
Yeah, I could tell you a story about my mother. We lived on this farm, you know, and this white guy. Well, anyway, he tried to run over my mom with a horse. Yeah. And my daddy, he used to work for, oh gosh, I was thinking that, but he used to drive a truck. But he would let us have the truck. We'd go, you know, we didn't have no car.
Yes, ma'am.
We'd go on the weekend, you know, and there was so much hatred was going on among the white.
Yes.
And there's one white man, I never will forget him. He saved my daddy alive. He went to go through a gate. They locked the gate and would let him in. They wrapped a chain around him. Started beating this one white man. I never will forget Mr. Cook. He told her with a shotgun, said, excuse the expression, let my nigga alone. Kill her down.
Oh my gosh.
Girl, I tell you,
That's something
I've
else.
seen a loss.
Yeah.
And after that, see, my daddy used to work on the farm.
Yeah.
So after that, we all got sick. We got in some pedestrian. We were young, like 3 of us. And so my brother, he liked to die. After that, we didn't have nothing but white people in our house. I mean, they come together. And I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Grandfather was a great farmer back then.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he farmed.
He had about 20-something years.
Wow.
He's the oldest out of
You the oldest.
of 20?
Yeah.
You the oldest of 20. And
Well, my baby, my brother, he passed away.
It was one that was from somebody else.
Somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was a half, my
grandfather,
half brother.
Yeah.
Three other families.
Yeah. And so he
It was about
passed away.
17 out of this bunch.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And so, like I said,
Wow.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah. So are you the family historian?
No.
He don't know nothing.
Because, you know,
You talking about the old folks now.
yeah. But you know how it's always one, like all the other kids are just
That's
doing their
what she
other
said, her
thing.
sister.
But there's always one child that
She
knows
know,
everything.
My sister,
Well,
she
my
would be-
sister,
Okay.
Robbie, she'll be here directly.
Your daughter.
My daughter.
Yeah.
She keeps up with
And
everything.
grandmother was 103.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Let's go.
She walked around with Cain. Don't think Cain was walking with her. As far as holding her. That was her man, she called.
Listen.
Well, I got the cane now. I got the cane
I
now.
love it.
The cane
You still
now.
have
I
it?
still have a cane.
Well, you look beautiful. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm going to get your address and I'm going to send you a birthday gift.
Okay, well.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to mail y'all. Because we're not just going to stop and interrupt your birthday and not,
Well, you
I'll bring you a present.
my daughter be here directly. I wish she could come on while y'all could meet her.
I wish we could too.
Her mother used to be wrestling with the guys because they would be
Oh,
trying
my
to take
grandma
it.
was.
Oh,
Really?
And
My
she
grandma
would
was
whoop them all.
praise the
My
Lord.
grandma.
She would whoop them all because she was a big Indian style woman.
Yes.
And they would try to corner her and she
Oh,
said,
wow.
Grandma was telling the story. She was a little kid and said she was talking about how
But
she was doing it.
Let me
And
tell
the
y'all.
fact that she
Yes,
had
ma'am.
to
Let me
do
tell
that.
y'all this.
That's
See,
hard.
back in the old days, they lived on this farm, and this white guy, he was made a pass out of, and so she told him that she'd meet him. She dressed her brother up.
That's awesome.
Woo! I love it.
Like a woman.
Oh my God. I love it.
Oh, gosh.
And he met him there, huh?
Oh, yes.
That's so
Did
funny.
he throw hands?
Women?
Yeah.
She sent him back to the house buck naked. Girl, I'm telling you.
I love it.
That's old stuff. Back in the days, things happened back in the day. But
That was awful. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, you know. You know. And look, they say black don't crack. Hey,
Well,
that's it right there, because you look amazing. You're beautiful.
I was my daddy's best fly hand. I tried.
Listen.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I used to.
Working
Did you
hard,
pick
She was the
cotton?
oldest.
Did you get cotton and all of
That
that?
makes sense.
Yeah.
My
Did I?
parents did too.
Did I?
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Yes, indeed.
most time I kept the weights, because we had a big farm and people, come in.
You know what I mean about fly hand behind the mule?
Yeah. Oh, we not. I know.
That's some hard work.
Hard labor. Hard labor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Got somebody in that.
We not going, I guess we'll say hello.
Uncle James, that's her brother.
Really?
Yeah, he's staying in Joplin.
Okay.
Sure.
And Joplin is a historical place, too.
That's down by Bonton, where I was telling you guys about.
Really?
Yeah, it was
He knows stuff.
It was when they freed.
thing on.
When the slaves came and they held.
Yeah.
That's
They held them.
We were talking about that.
Yeah. He's been over there since, I don't know. Now, you talking about someone that's he'll tell you some dirty stuff.
He's got the history, huh?
Let me he'll tell you some dirty stuff.
That's okay. We can edit that out.
These are a couple of historians and stuff.
Hey there.
Sir, how are you?
How you doing?
Tell them that you from Joplin. You've been there since how long?
50 years.
50 years in
My
Joplin.
wife across the street there where I stayed there. Back since 1963.
Yeah.
I got my wife there. Still there.
Mr. James, right?
Jemison.
Yeah.
Mr. Jemison.
Yeah.
And how old are you, sir?
87 years old.
Wow.
87 years
My
old.
name is Katina, by the way. This is
Yeah.
Garen. This is Adam.
Nice to
And
meet
we
you, sir.
drove by. We are
I wouldn't shake his hand.
That's
He's a woman's man.
You want to shake my hand?
He's a
Look,
woman's
listen
man.
in now.
Watch it out.
Watch yourself. Watch yourself.
He's a player.
Listen. Look, that's all right.
Used to be, I ain't no more.
That right. He
Yeah,
like,
see that?
he said he used to be.
Yeah, we all called it playing back then.
Listen. But we're doing a podcast and we're doing some episodes on Dallas.
Okay.
And we were doing just a tour of Hamilton Park and drove by, saw Miss Rosie's son here, and we saw the 93rd birthday, so we really got excited,
If you believe she that old, you around like
no,
that?
not at all. I mean,
Yeah, and drive too.
look, and yeah, I heard she drives, she's just beautiful.
Tell them the story about his mama used to do that thing on when they did that old man.
Well, she didn't like them, but she always was jumping on people too.
She used to beat people up.
Yeah, white boy, black boy.
She whoop them.
Who?
Yeah.
And me, always we had one guy, white guy, back in there when you was like right to about 4 or 5 bicycles, a mailbox together.
Yeah. She is so
White
cute.
boy live right down the corner. He could always come up the bridge leg road and walking. She didn't like us looking at all the boxes. Come on. When I got some thumb, put down inside there. Put the cover up there.
It was my-
He ain't coming down the street. I run behind the house, hiding, peeping out.
Oh my God.
She standing in the door there. Boy, he stepped on them. She just laughed.
She got it. Hi there, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm Katina, and this is Garen and Adam.
I'm Adam.
We have a podcast, and we drove by and saw the sign here, 93, and we're doing a segment. We talk about Black history, so we're doing a segment on Dallas, this specific area of Dallas, and we were driving through Hamilton Park.
This one of the oldest in the family. We got another one of the oldest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm next.
Okay.
That's my sister.
Yeah, this is your sister. Okay. Yeah, and so we just stopped and wanted to say happy birthday. And I know that she probably is just a wealth of history and information and and it's just been a joy standing here and just chatting with her and laughing. And, yeah. And to be celebrating 93 years is just amazing. If there's anything, because we're not going to hold y'all, we know you want to celebrate Mother, and which is awesome. But just any words you have about the history of, because they say you're the one that knows.
I'm 68.
What? Take off your shades, please. Oh my gosh, no you ain't. I thought you were my age. I'm 48. Oh my God, you are
How old am I? Wait a minute.
You're gorgeous. Thank you. Oh my gosh, your skin is like butter. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm just shocked. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me get it together. You are beautiful. I know, compose myself. Compose myself. Thank you.
That still ain't
Sis, how old are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
No.
Yeah.
You thinking I was
The only history that I have is that my father was a World War II veteran. And he fought in Normandy and all of those places, but he never did get any recognition for it, and I had to get his medals and everything. It was like about 20 years after his death, they finally sent me everything, and it took a whole lot
of work.
And he told me a lot of the history, things that they endure fighting over there as a black man. That once they captured the enemy, that they would have to sit at the back of the bus, and the Germans would sit up in the front with the captains and talking and everything, and how
the Nazis.
Yes, ma'am, and how they would. No, it was like in France, all of that. They was over there fighting with them. And when they came back home, which we were raised in East Texas in a small rural area, and it was like a lot of KKK and all like that. We were breathing down there. So when he did get back, he couldn't wear his uniform. Wow. And some of his friends that wore their uniform, they were made them take them off, and they had to walk in the back home naked and everything. That's how they were treated, after doing all
We
that.
talked about that. Everything you said, we talked about through different episodes about how how black veterans were treated like garbage. They couldn't even buy homes. They couldn't,
They didn't do anything for them, and so, it was just really a sad thing because, like I said, after he died, I was looking at his death certificate and saw all these medals that he had received. And I'm like, we never saw any of those. And so it took me about 2 years before I could get everything back. And then it was before President Obama got out of office, and he sent me a letter and everything thanking for his service. So.
Wow.
And that was all, and some of the things that I endured as going to school, how we had to endure things as, black students, how they treated us when we first integrated in. And when I was a senior, we all had afros.
Oh, yes.
You know anything about that, book?
We talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And so when it was time for us to graduate, they gave the black girls letters, and they told us that we had to straighten our hair before we could graduate. And so I said, y'all, we can't do that. So I asked the white girls, I said, did y'all put it in front of yours, please. And I was like, did you guys get any kind of letter saying that before y'all could graduate, y'all had to do anything? It was like, no, we didn't get anything. So I came home and told my mom and my dad, because I know how they were about, and they was like, girl, like, do what you do, but you better graduate. So I got with all the, the black girls. We had the froze, and I was like, y'all, we can't. Why we got to graduate? We earned, back then we had to earn 18 points.
Okay.
And I said, we got all our points. We did everything. So what is the problem? And our parents are paying for the pictures.
Come on.
So when it was time to graduate, we all was in the time to take our pictures. We were all in the cafeteria, and I walk in, I'm the only one with the fro. Everybody else had pressed their hair. And then, so the principal, he got in front of me. I thought the photographer was evidently from up north or something, because he was really, really, he said, because when I walked up there, they called Jones. That was my maiden name then. Tell him to park in front of Randy, park in front of the truck, please. And so, anyway, and he walked in front of me when I was coming up, because I was on one head, because he was watching me all while. When I first walked in, he watched every move I made. So when they said Jones, I came up there, and he stepped in front of me. He said, where do you think you're going, Jones? This is the principal. I said, I'm going to take my picture. He said, no, you ain't taking no picture because you supposed to. I said, are you paying for this picture? He said, no, but and then the photographer said, what is going on? And Mr. Thomas said, we told the color girls, that they needed to straighten their hair and before they take a picture. He was like, come on, baby. And I went upstairs. He said, you don't have to put on this hat, so just put your hands right here, and I got a picture there, and just take your picture. And and after we got out, after it was over with, he got Miss Thomas kind of from me, you're not graduating. So I told my dad about it. He wasn't pleased with it, so he took me to the graduation with his shotgun and everything.
Oh, wow.
So Did you graduate?
I did.
All right then.
And when Mr. Thompson saw him and saw my dad, he would like
Let her through.
Yeah,
All right.
So yeah, we had to go through a whole lot.
And
Wow.
we talked about some of the school, everything you're saying. We talked about a little bit on either on the episode or during the tour that we're doing with Adam today, because he lives here, and he lives in the neighborhood.
Just down at Abrams and Forest, right by the Walmart.
And so he talked about, all the things. And here, like, with our podcast is called Black History for White People, but we speak freely. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gotta. Like they gonna get what they gonna get because it's our history, and they need to know it the way we see it and the way we tell it.
That's it. The way we live it.
The way we experience.
The way that we are experiencing it. See, that's what I had to tell them first. And you know what?
You don't know like we know.
I'm black. I've been black all my life.
All your life.
How you gonna tell me if you hadn't been there and lived and been through what I've been through?
Oh my God.
And stuff. I don't understand. I can't say they're close-minded. They don't see a individual, a human being. All they see is a black person.
Yeah.
Black person.
Yeah, that's right.
And stuff. And and there's so much going on. And whatever happened out there on the street, they come back, all my co-workers, they huddle up together. They talking about the issue and stuff. Black Lives Matter. But what about the white? Oh, I said, baby, you don't have to worry about that.
Because y'all, we know your
you're
lives
missing
matter.
the point.
Exactly.
Black lives matter. I said, have you ever grew up black, had kids to spit on you, call you in and stuff? Walk in the
And treat
store
you like
folks
your mouth, what life didn't matter. Yeah.
Treat you like you're black.
Right.
They don't see a person. I don't care what you do to them, all they see is a black person. And stuff. I said, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. We know all lives matter. That's what we're trying to. We matter too. We know y'all matter.
Absolutely.
And stuff. And I said, how do y'all put your heads together and talk about what's going on out there in the street, black issue? And here I am black, and you leave me out.
Right.
And then when I walk up, you like you got on your face. I say, because you're saying something you don't want me to hear, and then I know how you really feel.
Absolutely.
I said, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
We know.
You do your thing.
And we're going to do ours.
And go on, sit down and smile. And I
My
said,
God.
Lord, I give them to you. Don't let me lose my little religion. Because you know what? It's
Amen.
not worth it. Because I used to get upset and say some things. I don't do anything. I'm upset.
Right.
Sit down, pray about it. Let the Lord go for a walk. And come back. And,
But the fact that you have to deal with that on that microaggression on a daily basis.
You shouldn't have to.
You should not.
You shouldn't have to.
You should not.
No.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you are looking for more information on what we discussed, take a look at the show notes or go to blackhistoryforwhitepeople.com. If you'd like to play a supportive role in the podcast and be able to vote for future topics, you can support us for $5 a month. Check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/blackhistoryforwhitepeople. On our next episode, we will be discussing mass incarceration. We'll leave you with this quote from Julian Bond. The humanity of all Americans is diminished when any group is denied rights granted to others.